Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here today inside the boiler room. With that being said, we're going to jump into it. So the headline of the video may not contain the stocks. Oh, yeah, maybe it did get them changed. All right, so as you can see there, we have Netflix, Tesla, IQ, and PIXY. So it looks like a slower morning today. So I'm just going to result back to trading possibly Tesla, Netflix, and then PIXY and IQ are two stocks I think are going to be the main watch for me today. The fallback stocks are going to be Tesla and Netflix for me today. So good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's going to enjoy their weekend. Hopefully we can end today on a green note, have some good trades. Do remember it is Friday. So on Fridays, we tend to have a slower day. Which isn't always the case, but again, it's very possible that today's going to be slower considering it's Friday. So when you're taking positions, do account for possibly having a slower day, meaning some of the trades you take may be a little bit, the profit potential may not be as great as they normally are. So on Friday, something for me, I remember last Friday was extremely slow and I had a rough time trading. So considering that's what last Friday was like, I'm going to anticipate this Friday might be a little slow as well. And Yuri, it is Friday the 13th as well. Joel. Ooh, not so good, Mr. Pink Penny. That's okay, though. You'll get it back. I don't know, Private Quran. I have no idea. So we'll get into it. I'm going to start sharing the screen right now. All right, guys, so today's watch list is a little bit smaller than, maybe some of the other days. But for one of the main stocks, I guess one of the ones we're going to keep on watch will be Tesla. So Tesla had its bounce, and I figured we might push a little higher, but it's failed, and it actually never ended up pushing up too much more. So anywho, we're going to watch Tesla today. Now, if you look at Tesla, it had that support right around the 310 to 305 area that it held a pretty good support level when it bounced. So it's hard to determine exactly what's going to happen, but if you look at this daily chart, it seems as if Tesla wants to push a little lower. You can kind of see it's trickling down like that, but it did gap up a small amount today. So for me personally, I'm going to watch Tesla. Now, I'm not entirely sure which direction it's going to go because Tesla always seems to fake me out, as I've stated before. So it's one of those stocks where I trade it really well intraday, but sometimes projecting the move can be quite a challenge for me. So what I would do is mark off a trend line. We're going to be using trend lines on Tesla. Mark off a trend line from the most recent high at 329 and down. And from there, you'll have your downward trend line resistance. We have a support built up around 310 for Tesla. That's where we've bounced. And right now, we're kind of in the middle of 310 and the 320 mark, which is that downward trend line resistance area. So for me personally today, Tesla is just going to be a stock that I'm watching for intraday plays or bounces, okay? Kind of like this here. All right, you can kind of see, a couple days back, Tesla bounced in the middle of the day, something like that. So that's what I'll be watching Tesla for, just intraday plays and intraday breakdowns like this bounce or that short or this bounce, right? That short. So for me personally, Tesla is just a stock that I know can move pretty good. So that's why I'm putting it on the watch list today as a stock I know with the right storm could potentially move a great value. And that's why I'm just going to keep this on watch today because I don't see a whole lot of other plays, at least in my opinion. I haven't found anything that I'm super crazy about. So I'm going to result back to having Tesla on the watch list simply for some intraday plays. Right now, pre-market, it hasn't moved a whole lot and hasn't done very much. So you can't really map off too much there. What I would do is map off the closing price of yesterday, which is at about 317, right about 317, 316 area. That's where the closing price for yesterday was. And right now we're below yesterday's closing price. So we are red on the day. So if Tesla can kind of stay a below the closing price of yesterday, that's where I'd be looking to short Tesla below that level. If it can break up above yesterday's closing price, then I might look to take Tesla long. So pretty clear spot is the closing price to pay attention to from yesterday on Tesla. Now we'll move over to Netflix, NFLX. So Netflix for me today, again, is a short. We've covered this multiple times over the past week, and it's basically the same idea. Netflix popped up to 423. Let me get all these old drawings off. There's a lot going on there. So Netflix popped up to the 420s. We hit 420 again. We're pulling back. We have a nice steady pullback taking place to the 9 moving average. And now you can see Tesla's starting to roll over even more. So for me personally, I am definitely going to be watching Tesla short as we are pulling back and it is declining. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about Tesla is this, it's not really dumping out, it's kind of just pulling back, right? And if we look back at the yearly chart, you can see it's not dumping, it's just pulling back to the 9 moving average, all right? Right now, the price is at like 409. So what I kind of fear is that this is just a slight pullback and people are going to start dip buying Tesla in expectation, or sorry, Netflix, I apologize. They're going to start buying Netflix on these dips in an expectation that the earnings is going to be good. As you can see, we're having earnings come up soon here on Netflix. So I think this is just a slight pullback before we start getting bought up for the earnings. Now, I could be wrong, and that's why I'm still going to be short bias on it. So today, personally, going to be watching Netflix short below the pre-market low, and then even below yesterday's low of day, which is at about 407. If we can get below yesterday's low, I think we have room to run down to at least 405 and possibly even 402. Okay, so going to be watching Netflix short bias today down to down to this 405, possibly even a 402 area. And that can all happen pretty quickly if, in fact, it does start breaking down below the pre-market low and yesterday's low. I think we have the opportunity to run down to 405, so a couple points to the downside. All right. So that was Netflix. So again, Netflix short. IQ is going to be my most favorable play. So you guys know that I've been following IQ for a while, waiting on the bounce day, waiting. And of course, the one day I don't really put it on my watch list or follow it, it ends up bouncing. So we did, in fact, bounce here on IQ. Today, let me actually do a 20-day 1-hour chart. So it is holding a resistance right at 35, right about 35.30. Yep. So if you look back here, you see this day, this bounce, that bounce day represents basically the resistance that we are running into with IQ right now, right at about 35, close to 36, right? You can see this bounce day straight across is what's holding up the resistance right now on IQ. Exactly. The boring consolidation got me on IQ, and I ended up not watching it, unfortunately. So you can see that IQ does have a little bit of resistance up in this 3530s, 3550s area that it's running into. And actually, let me redo that. Oops, excuse me. 20-day 1 hour. So it is running into resistance close up at this 3550s and this $36 area, and it's starting to drop pretty significantly here this morning. So we had a good recovery bounce day on IQ. Today, I'll still watch it long for continuation. It doesn't look great for a long play right now, but I think if if IQ continues to dump and keep heading down pre-market like this, the likelihood of it having a bounce or squeezing up out of the gates is more likely. So initially, what I'll be looking for, if IQ continues to roll over, I'll look for an early morning squeeze and then a short, because clearly it doesn't like this 3550s area and it's already starting to roll over. So I think the likelihood of seeing it just ramp up and go crazy isn't very likely. But I think if we do push down, we could start hitting some of these bounce areas from yesterday, and we might start actually bouncing today off these levels. Now, if this is the case, these plays off these levels are going to be a short-term long, most likely followed by a short afterwards. Okay, so again, if it does bounce off any one of these levels here pre-market, or sorry, pre-market or even intraday, right, when we open up, it's most likely going to be a quick long play that's then followed by a move down. All right. IQ seen a lot of volume yesterday. It's probably going to see a lot of volume today. So do note that this is probably a stock that's going to be in play today. All right. I'm thinking short bias altogether, but I think there's going to be a quick long play in the morning, then a short. So I'm initially going to be long biased for a little bit of a bounce, then a short play on IQ today. All right. Next one on the list is, and to touch here on IQ, map off all the previous highs and previous lows from yesterday. Mark off any of the bounce areas that significantly bounced or seen resistance, and that's how you can kind of map those areas. All right. Next one on the list is PIXY, PIXY. So PIXY is a penny stock. It's a penny stock that did have, its run back in the day. You can see it's had a few of these pops. Okay, and now today it is popping up again. All right. They did just have like, did they have an earnings? Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like they did have some type of earnings call. Prices increasing. So PIXY is a penny stock that it's traded a good amount of volume today. And so far, out of all the penny stocks that I looked at earlier this morning, this is the one that seemed the most promising. Now, the only thing I don't really like about PIXY is the idea that it popped up here, dropped down, popped back up, dropped down again, and now it's starting to roll over like this. So right now we have a double top, right? So we do have a double top here at about $4, which means that's a bearish pattern. We popped up, double top, and now we're trending back down. So it's hard to tell whether or not this is going to have a good day. What it really needs to do is pop back up and start doing this. Okay, if it doesn't start trending back up, it's going to be hard for me to really trade this. The other idea here is that if it pops back up to, this $4 price point, we might have a bunch of short sellers pile in it, push it down, and then we'll have a U-shaped squeeze pattern. We could see that. So PIXY's kind of on the back burner. Main play for me today is most likely going to be IQ and Netflix. PIXY's a little kind of off the walls for me. Not too crazy about it. All right. I'll take a look at ANTM. ANTM, no, probably not. Nope. I'll talk about IZEA because I know yesterday it traded pretty well. And not really, but all right. So IZEA most likely is going to have a big red day. Probably not. I myself will not be trading it. IZEA is it's rolling over. It's breaking below the pre-market support level, which is a very, very bearish sign. So be completely honest, chances are we're not going to see a very good day here on IZEA. The only reason we actually saw a good day yesterday was because a lot of people shorted the stock up here, and then it got short squeezed right in towards the end of the day. All right. Oh, ATNM. I apologize. Let me take a look. So for me personally, IZEA, in my personal opinion, do not feel IZEA is going to be a good trade today. And if you are going to trade it, I would probably be short bias. I will note that it's very possible we're going to see these little short squeezes throughout the day, similar to what we saw yesterday, these little pops, but we're probably not going to see a big run. Okay, there might be little intermediate pops on IZEA, and that's probably about it. ATNM. Oh, ATNM. Still no. That's a very low volume, sub-priced penny stock. Not that you can't make money on, just not my go-to trade. So it's a very light volume trading stock, or maybe it's light volume in comparison to the float. But I do see what you're talking about. It does have a nice kind of curl pattern. So it does have a very bullish outlook or chart pattern, resistance right here at this 73 and up to the $80 or 80-cent price point. So from anywhere from 76 cents to 80 cents, it's got a lot of resistance. So I'd be very careful on trying to buy it up right now. It's pretty high. And again, it trades on extremely light volume. I'll talk about MU. Not that I even like MU right now. For me personally, MU is just, it's kind of just there. Technically speaking, right now, it probably wouldn't be the worst idea to buy it because we are kind of in a dip phase. So if this does want to keep trending up, which it looks like it does, it is trending up. This would be kind of a respectable dip buy area. I think there's probably a better entry on it. All in all, this is a dip area on the stock MU. So theoretically, this is where you should be buying in hopes it goes higher. Okay. You don't want to be buying up here or here. You want to be buying down here and selling up there. So theoretically speaking and technically speaking, right now would be a dip buy opportunity on the stock MU. Bioc. I'll take a look here real fast. Oh, did it kind of pick up this morning? Yeah, I think someone said something about that. Yeah, so Bioc got some more news this morning. If you're not familiar, it was a stock that went kind of crazy a couple days back, and now it's squeezing up again. So yeah, keep an eye on Bioc. It's got news this morning. A bunch of people shorted it yesterday. So this could very easily start squeezing up again. So for me personally, to be long on this, I would have to see it over like 850s, 860s, which was that previous high pre-market the other day. But based on the way the chart looks right now, it does have a very strong chance of squeezing, I believe, considering yesterday a lot of people probably shorted it thinking it was going to crash. And since it didn't, they're starting to squeeze up this morning. So do keep Bioc on watch for a potential long today. And with the news that it just got this morning, that could be a great accompanying factor to the upwards move on it. Again, also you got to think short bias up at this level, right? This is a key short level here up towards this 860s area. Okay, so if you purchase up here at 860, you're going to run a strong risk of getting crushed if it does crash. That's why for me, the only way I'd like to take it long would either be on some type of dip, or if it broke over and held support on that level, then I would get long. I would not get long. I would not get long before it, and I would not get long at it. Only below it and over and above it. Okay, anywhere just before it's a no-go for me. So again, anywhere below this like 860s level, I would not be getting long unless it was a dip buy or unless it broke over, held support, and then ran. Okay. Bioc has 1, 2, 3, or well, actually, it's 2. Biocept enters into agreement with Alliance Global FZ to market and distribute liquid biopsy testing in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and African region. Biocept enters into marketing deal with Alliance Global FC for liquid biopsy testing platform, blah, blah, blah. So it's got 2 PR releases this morning. Good news. Just because it's not on Yahoo Finance and FinViz does not mean there is not news. That's why it's always important to make sure you check the news channel on your trading platform. That's why it's there, so you can stay up to date on all the fresh and new hip news that's coming out, which would be located in the news channel of Thinkorswim. If you don't have Thinkorswim, that's okay. You can always result back to FinViz and Yahoo. They do a pretty good job. Most of the time, the news that's on FinViz and Yahoo is very similar, if not the exact same, to what I get through here on TD Ameritrade. So, alrighty, guys, that's all I got for today. Those are going to be all the stocks I'm watching. So keep an eye on BIOC. Just in case, watch PIXY, PIXY. Excuse me. Main plays for me are going to be IQ. I will probably focus mainly. Oh, excuse me. I'm tired. Unless something changes, right? Something could change where something pops up on the scanners, something changes. Hell, something could have even changed by the time I've done this video. So by the time we've been live on this video, something could have already changed, right? But for me personally, main play so far are going to be Netflix, IQ. BIOC looks interesting, so I'll probably watch BIOC. And those are kind of it. Those are the 3 ones. For any of you, I'll do a quick kind of thing here. For any of you that were thinking of trading AVGO, which is, what was that, Broadcom, right? Yeah, Broadcom, yeah. So if any of you were thinking of trading AVGO today, not necessarily a bad idea, but do me a favor, if you were intending on trading AVGO, look at the 1-year chart. On the 1-year chart, you will see that AVGO typically does not trade shit for volume. Okay, it trades very, very low volume. Yesterday was a very unnormal day. It was not a normal day for AVGO. It's seen a lot of volume. All right, so to think that it's going to trade like that again today, it's probably not. It may trade similar, but it's going to be on far less volume than you've seen yesterday. So the moves that happened yesterday, okay, might not be as big as today, but they might be. But regardless, what I'm getting at here is AVGO typically does not trade that much volume. Yesterday, it's seen a lot of volume, so do not think that it typically trades that type of range on average. It had a massive gap down and a ton of volume. That is not its typical trading day. All right. When I say long is just upwards. Okay, that's all. Long is not a time frame. Long is the term used to describe the direction in which you think a stock is going to go. How long? Golden $1 million question. Long could be for 10 seconds until it hits resistance. Long could be 30 minutes after hitting resistance 3 times, pulling back and continuing up. So how long is all dependent on a trader's skill level, how long they can hold a position, how long they have, or how much conviction they have in a trade that it's going to continue up based on a bunch of technical analysis. All right. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Please do give me a thumbs up before you head out the door. Would appreciate that. It helps my videos. Other than that, I will see you guys all come Monday morning and possibly a few videos over the weekend. So everybody take care. Make sure to end the day on a green note.